I can still feel the rush of adrenaline, even now, hours after it happened, like my veins are still pulsing with the electricity of that late-night call. It all started innocently enough, a quiet Tuesday afternoon, the kind where the office hums along like a well-oiled machine, and nobody expects fireworks. I was finishing up edits on a client proposal when my phone buzzed with a calendar invite. Your urgent 7 p.m. call with Horizon Global. My heart skipped a beat. Horizon was the one account I'd been chasing since my first week at Strathmore and Blake. Landing them would be career-defining. By the time 7 p.m. rolled around, the office was empty. Desks stood abandoned, computer screens blinking in standby, and the fluorescent lights dimmed slightly, as though even the building knew something big was about to go down. I settled into the conference room, my laptop's camera blinking red. I swiped open the video call. There they were, 4 senior executives from Horizon, faces lit by their home office lamps, each one wearing that careful blend of optimism and skepticism you save for vendors you've been burned by before. Good evening, I began, heart drumming in my chest. Thanks for making time on short notice. I clicked through my slides, weaving together market analysis, projected ROI, and a custom integration plan that would elevate their supply chain visibility tenfold. I could practically feel their resistance melting away, one well-placed statistic at a time. When I landed on the final slide, projected 18-month revenue increase, $12.4 million, there was a palpable shift in the air. The CFO, a sharp-eyed woman named Clarissa, leaned forward. Jordan, this is impressive, but can we talk about your timeline? You're projecting go live in 8 weeks, seems ambitious. I nodded, heart in my throat. Under normal circumstances, yes. But we've allocated dedicated resources, and our integration team has prioritized Horizon as our Q3 flagship. We'll even provide on-site support for the first month at no additional cost. A beat of silence, then Clarissa's lips curved in a small, approving smile. All right, we're ready to move forward. In that moment, I almost forgot to breathe. Excellent, I'll send over the contract within the hour. The CEO, who had been silent until then, gave me a curt nod. We look forward to reviewing it. And with that, the call ended. I leaned back in my chair, exhaling a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. The rest of the evening blurred into a flurry of emails and signatures. I drafted the contract, flagged by legal, and sent it off with a sense of reverent triumph. Within 90 minutes, the CFO's digital signature appeared in green on my screen. The contract was binding. Horizon Global was officially ours. My phone lit up again, this time with a text from Maya, our head of legal. Great work, congratulations, on call with CEO in 10. I tapped back, on my way. I grabbed my coat, the weight of success settling on my shoulders like a well-tailored jacket. Even at 8:30, Strathmore and Blake's lobby still smelled of fresh coffee and ambition. I stepped into the elevator and rode up to the CEO's office on the 22nd floor, rehearsing my good news spiel. The door opened before I could knock. There he stood, Richard Caldwell, my boss, framed by the city skyline behind him. He was reviewing a set of graphs on his desk, brow furrowed. I cleared my throat. Jordan. His voice was flat, no hint of that trademark enthusiasm he used when he believed in you. Close the door, I obeyed. The usual warmth of our past conversations, cheers after a successful pitch, mentoring sessions in his mahogany-paneled office, felt distant like echoes from someone else's life. He motioned to a chair. Sit. I sat. My heart hammered. Jordan, I've been getting calls, he began slowly. Unsettling ones. I blinked. Calls? From whom? He leaned back, arms crossed. Clients. Vendors. They say the Horizon deal went through. But here's the thing, legal never received the paperwork. My stomach dropped. That's impossible. I sent it directly to Maya. He held up a hand. Strathmore and Blake's legal department has no record of Horizon Global contract, nor finance, nor my assistant. It's as if the entire deal doesn't exist. A cold knot formed in my chest. Richard, the CFO, signed it. I have the time-stamped PDF. I fumbled for my laptop, opened my email, and scrolled to the thread. Here, look. He watched without interest. Jordan, I've been in this business 25 years. Systems don't just lose documents. Somebody is lying. I swallowed. I'm telling you the truth. He stood, his silhouette monumental against the night sky. I want a full audit on this by Monday, and I want you off that account until it's resolved. My throat went dry. You're taking me off Horizon, after I closed it. He nodded curtly, until I know who's manipulating the system. I left his office with my pride in tatters Every step back to my desk felt like walking through quicksand. I passed rows of cubicles, every buzz of the fluorescent lights mocking me. By the time I reached my chair, it was nearly midnight. I shut down my computer, slung my bag over my shoulder, and walked out into the empty parking lot, the building windows staring down like indifferent gods. The next morning, I arrived early, determined to prove my innocence. I wanted to uncover the glitch, the missing link, the piece that would vindicate me. But instead, I found a termination notice slipped under my office door, stamped final. By noon, HR had escorted me out, with the same courtesy afforded to shoplifters, a clipped apology, a folded envelope with my final paycheck, and a security guard shadowing my every move. I stood in the lobby, clutching my optics for the 21 years I'd poured into this career, internships, late nights, client dinners. It all felt like sand slipping through my fingers. My phone vibrated, a text from Clarissa, the CFO of Horizon. "Jordan, is everything okay? I saw a notice about you leaving Strathmore and Blake. We have that signed contract. Horizon is in the clear. You should talk to Richard." Tears blurred my vision. My victory had been stolen by someone inside, someone who knew exactly what they were doing. And now, I had nothing. Over the next days, I dug in. I recreated the chain of custody for the contract. Timestamps, IP addresses, server logs, every digital breadcrumb pointed back to my computer. Yet the paperwork never reached the secure vault where Strathmore's records were kept. I interviewed a T, who swore blind there was no breach, no malicious code, no external intrusion. Internal audit found no discrepancies in user permissions. It was as if the signed contract had evaporated into thin air. I went to see Clarissa at Horizon's headquarters, her glass-walled office overlooking the harbor, a stark contrast to my empty apartment. She greeted me with cautious relief. "Jordan, I'm sorry this happened, but the contract is valid. Horizon's board voted unanimously. We're moving forward." Her confidence gave me a flicker of hope, but it also deepened the mystery. If Horizon's side was solid, why was mine missing? I returned home that night and scrolled through LinkedIn. There he was, Gregory Vale, a former colleague I'd mentored on my first big deal, who had been laid off 6 months earlier. I saw the subtle change in his status, open to opportunities. He'd mentioned in passing that he was bitter about being pushed out. Could he have sabotaged the system? My phone dinged a Gmail alert from an account I didn't recognize. "Verify your document request." The email read, "I noticed you've been trying to locate the Horizon contract. Perhaps you need a helping hand." My blood ran cold. The sender address was spoofed, but the writing style, the clipped syntax, the smudge of sarcasm, felt eerily familiar. My mind whirled Vale, Caldwell, someone else. I stared at the message, fingers trembling. The stakes had gone beyond a lost document. Someone had weaponized bureaucracy against me. And if I didn't act fast, my name and the biggest deal in company history would vanish forever into corporate limbo. I slammed my laptop shut, adrenaline coursing once more. I had to find the truth. I had to clear my name. And most importantly, I had to expose the person who thought they could bury my achievement and destroy my career with a few keystrokes. As I stepped onto the rain-slicked street, I realized something. I was no longer a sales executive playing by the rules. I was a survivor in an arena where trust was a weapon, and information was both shield and sword. And I was about to fight back with everything I had. The sky was still bruised with the last traces of rain when I woke the next morning, mind spinning faster than the wipers clawing at my windshield. I hadn't slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that email, that phantom contract disappearing into the void, and wondered who'd sent it. I'd spent the night nursing espresso in the glow of my laptop, scouring logs, drafting letters to legal counsel, and mapping out my next moves. Now, as dawn filtered through my blinds, I realized brute force wouldn't solve this. I needed finesse and an ally. I dialed Clarissa's number while crossing the living room. Her voicemail greeted me with its crisp, professional tone. I left a brief, urgent message. "Call me back as soon as you see this. We need to coordinate. We're not out of options." Then I texted her our signed PDF and the screenshot of the mysterious email I'd received. If Horizon and I presented a united front, maybe Caldwell wouldn't be able to bury us both. My phone buzzed within minutes. On my way, Clarissa's text read. 30 minutes later, I was in Horizon's sleek lobby again, tapping a foot as I waited for her elevator. When she stepped out, she looked tired but determined, dark circles under her eyes, but that same focused glint in her steely blue irises. "Jordan, she said without preamble. Let's go. We strode into the empty conference suite on the 12th floor and sat across from each other at the glass table. I slid over my binder. I want you to know I've retraced every step. All the timestamps, the email trail, the server logs, everything is in here. The contract left my system. It never went missing on my end. She nodded, flipping through pages. Our legal team confirms we've got the signed contract on our side. Your signature? Mine, both CFOs. It's airtight. She frowned. So why is Strathmore's legal department blank on it? I outlined the phantom email. I got this last night. The language? It sounds like someone from my old firm, I admitted. Someone who knows our processes, and someone who wanted this deal to disappear. She tapped her pen. This is sabotage. If we go to litigation, it'll blow up in Caldwell's face. But we need leverage. She looked at me. Are you prepared to testify in an internal investigation? To expose whoever did this? My heart thumped. Yes, I want them held accountable. But I need proof. She smiled, the first genuine smile I'd seen since this all began. Then let's go find it. We reached out to Horizon's cybersecurity team, a lean unit of ex-intelligence analysts. Within hours, they'd traced the spoofed email back to a workstation on Strathmore's network, specifically the machine assigned to Gregory Vale. My mind reeled. Vale, the disgruntled former colleague, had always seemed sharp but jaded. He'd been unceremoniously let go at a round of layoffs 6 months prior, and I'd offered to help him network, only for him to turn distant, bitter. Now the pieces fit. He'd logged into my mailbox via stolen credentials, intercepted the contract email, and forwarded a fake notice to misdirect HR. Clarissa and I held a conference call with Vale's new employer, an upstart tech firm that had hired him as an IT consultant. They were furious at the thought of one of their own engaging in corporate espionage. Within the hour, Vale was put on administrative leave pending full cooperation in the investigation. I felt a surge of relief, proof at last. Buoyed by this breakthrough, I drafted an email to Caldwell, copying HR, legal, and our corporate overseers. Dear Richard, it has come to light that Gregory Vale, formerly of Strathmore and Blake, and currently engaged in IT consultancy, exploited his residual network access to misappropriate the Horizon Global contract and to forestall its proper filing. Evidence includes forensic trace logs, network access timestamps, and forged communications. I have attached the full report from Horizon's cybersecurity team. Please advise on next steps for restoration of my position and remediation of this breach. I hesitated only a moment before hitting send. This email was my Excalibur. It would either vindicate me or provoke more resistance. But I knew I had no choice. Integrity demanded I stand my ground. The rest of the day blurred into expectancy. Strathmore's internal audit team reached out, requesting an urgent meeting scheduled for first thing tomorrow. I spent the evening polishing my presentation, slides detailing the breach, the chain of events, and my proposed action plan. Reinstatement, disciplinary measures for Vale, and new security protocols to prevent future exploits. That night, I slept for the first time in a week with a sense of cautious optimism. I dreamed of Caldwell's office, of him standing at that same window we'd once admired together, and smiling in recognition of the deal I'd fought so hard to secure. The next morning, I arrived at Strathmore's lobby in a crisp suit, binder in hand. HR escorted me to a conference room, where Caldwell, 2 senior legal counsel, and the head of IT awaited. The tension was electric. Caldwell's face was unreadable. Jordan, he said, voice betraying none of his old warmth. Thank you for coming. I offered a curt nod and began. As I walked them through the timeline, my call with Horizon, the signed contract, the missing document, the spoofed email, Horizon's cyber report, their expressions shifted from skepticism to horror. The head of IT leaned forward, eyes wide. This is damning, she said. We found the logs here at HQ. Vale's credentials were still active in a dormant account. He used a backdoor to intercept and delete the contract. Caldwell's jaw clenched. He looked at me, shame and regret mingling in his gaze. Jordan, I owe you an apology. I let the words hang. An apology does not repair the damage. I lost my job. My reputation took a hit. This deal nearly died because someone wanted to sabotage it, because I closed it. That's unconscionable. He swallowed. I understand. We will immediately reinstate you to your former position, senior director, client engagement, and formally recognize the Horizon deal as yours. Vale will be terminated, and I assure you, prosecuted if necessary. We'll also revise our security policy to close these loopholes. He cleared his throat. I misjudged the situation, and I let you down. I felt my chest loosen. Thank you. I appreciate that. Within days, I had my title, my desk, and the accolade of having closed the company's largest deal. The board issued a formal commendation, and the internal newsletter ran a feature, Behind the Deal, How Jordan Emery Fought Cyber Sabotage to Secure Horizon Global. Even Caldwell mentioned me by name at the quarterly town hall, praising my tenacity and dedication. But the real victory came when I walked into Horizon's offices to finalize the kickoff meeting. Clarissa greeted me with a grin and a firm handshake. Welcome back, she said. Let's get to work. As I took my seat at the conference table, I felt the familiar thrill of possibility. I'd been at rock bottom, fired, embarrassed, and betrayed. Yet I'd clawed my way back, armed only with the truth and the support of those who believed in me. I realized something fundamental in business, as in life, setbacks are inevitable. What defines you is not the defeat, but the fight that follows. That evening, I sat alone in the quiet of my apartment, the city lights shimmering beyond the windows. My phone buzzed with a message from Caldwell. Jordan, thank you again. If you ever need anything, my door is open. I typed back, thank you, it's good to be back. I closed my laptop, poured a glass of wine, and toasted my reflection. The horizon outside was vast, full of new clients, new challenges, and new stories. I'd survived corporate warfare. Now I was ready to thrive in it. And the biggest lesson I'd learned, that integrity and persistence can outmatch deception and sabotage, would guide me forward, no matter what storms lay ahead.